create Louis XIII. Imagine the future.
You're late.
You miss me that much? Must be terrible for you.
I made a couple points. One is, despite the news, despite all the rancor, the truth is if you had to be born at any time in human history and you didn't know who you were going to be ahead of time, you didn't know you were going to be Jimmy Fallon, you would choose now because the world is actually healthier, wealthier, better educated, more tolerant, less violent than it has ever been. I was in Hiroshima and thinking about the fact that during a 5-6 year span, 60 million people were killed around the world. I mean, it was just devastation. And for all the problems we got now, what I wanted to communicate to folks was there's a reason to be hopeful. We've got challenges, but we can deal with them. What we also have to do, though, if we're going to deal with them, is we have to recognize that democracy means you don't get everything.
This is a CBS News, really, of Illinois. This is an incredible decades after this dramatic pick. These crowds.
This is more than 100 who picked their presidents.
In your career.
I went to attended.
Park there.
Who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible. Who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time. Who still questions the power of our democracy. Tonight is your answer. It's the answer told by lines that stretched around schools and churches in numbers this nation has never seen, by people who waited.
It is my great personal honor to present the 44th President of these United States, Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. My fellow citizens, I stand here today humbled by the task before us, grateful for the trust you've bestowed, mindful of the sacrifices borne by our ancestors. I thank President Bush for his service to our nation. As well as the generosity and cooperation he has shown throughout this transition. Thank you. Madam Speaker, Vice President Biden, members of Congress, distinguished guests, and fellow Americans. Our Constitution declares that from time to time, the President shall give to Congress information about the state of our Union. For 220 years, our leaders have fulfilled this duty. They've done so during periods of prosperity and tranquility. And they've done so in the midst of war and depression, in moments of great strife and great struggle. It's tempting to look back on these moments and assume that our progress was inevitable, that America was always destined to succeed. But when the Union was turned back at Bull Run and the Allies first landed at Omaha Beach, victory was very much in doubt. When the market crashed on Black Tuesday and civil rights marchers were beaten on Bloody Sunday, the future was anything but certain. These were the times that tested Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, distinguished guests, and fellow Americans. Tonight, I want to begin by congratulating the men and women.
In 2007, iPhone reinvented what we think of as a phone. It's hard to remember what it was like before iPhone. Carriers controlled what was on the phone. There were a few apps, but nothing like we think about apps today. There was no free market for apps. There was no app store. It was really different before the iPhone. And the iPhone started to change all of that in 2007. It was a revolution. In 2008, we added 3G networking and the App Store. In 2009, the iPhone 3GS was twice as fast, and we added some other cool features like video recording. For 2010, we're going to take the biggest leap since the original iPhone. And so today, we're introducing iPhone 4, the fourth generation iPhone. Now, this is really hot. And there are well over 100 new features, and we don't have time to cover all. We want to kick off 2000. A few weeks ago, we sold our 250 millionth iPod. And iPods have changed the way we discover and purchase and enjoy music. And with 250 million of them, I just didn't want to let this moment pass without just recognizing it. It's pretty amazing. And so that's our first update. Second update is about our retail stores. You know, we now have 284 retail stores. It's amazing. And last quarter, the holiday quarter, we had over 50 million visitors to our stores. 50 million people in one quarter. One of our newest stores is our fourth store in New York City. It's on Broadway, a few blocks up from Lincoln Center, and it's really beautiful. This is a shot of it before it opened. It'll never look this good again. Here it is on opening day, and a shot across the street. It is so wonderful to be putting these stores.
North India has borne the brunt of the swine flu virus this year. New Delhi has reported the maximum cases, nearly 1,200 in the last 2 months alone. Rajasthan has reported 615 cases with the highest number of deaths at 120. These figures are after a 2-year lull. CNN IBN spoke